Stuart Stevens, senior advisor at the Lincoln Project, author of the book It Was All a Lie, How the Republican Party Became Donald Trump. And as example of your thesis, that what we're seeing unfurling before us, I mean, you've got these two individuals, Mr. Hartman, Ms. Palmer, the Wayne County Board of Canvassers. I don't know them at all. I don't know them from Adam. Just normal local Republican functionaries. There are thousands like them across the country, taking this extraordinarily authoritarian anti-democratic step. Lindsey Graham calling around to find out if maybe we could throw out some ballots. So this is, how do you make sense of what you're seeing?
Well, look, I think we should call it what it is. It's sedition. It's an attempt to undermine the democratic process in the United States of America. Of course, it's tinged with racism because overwhelmingly African Americans didn't support Donald Trump. So they want to throw out those votes. It is like Bull Connor. But it's even worse than that because the entire Republican Party, almost, with the exception of just a few people at the top, refused to admit who won the presidency of the United States in a race that was not particularly close. Now, I really don't know what base level of democratic responsibility you have. You take an oath of office and you are unwilling to say who won an election. It's extraordinary. I doubt this. It's really unbelievable that nothing like this has ever happened before. It's extraordinarily cowardly, and it's fundamentally destructive to the process because a lot of people believe these people.
Yeah, what's striking to me here is that, you know, we talk a lot about norms over in the Trump era to the point where the word gets sort of chewed out till it doesn't have any taste, like what it means. But to me, when you look at these county board of canvassers, right, the ones that aren't doing what these two individuals in Wayne County did, or you look at Rassenberger, like it is the case that fundamentally this whole thing does basically go on with people acting with integrity and under norms and traditions to not try to subvert democratic elections en masse in a coordinated fashion. And by and large, most Republicans have been doing that. It's these ones at the top who are promoting it, who are in some ways the outliers, but also the most dangerous.
Well, look, I think that's the history of how these democracies unravel. You know, what happens in Germany? It's at the top, and it's a responsibility that they have to be democratic supporting citizens before they are Republicans. And look, I know a lot of these people, and it just baffles me, Chris. These are not bad people. I mean, if they lived next door to you, they'd be great neighbors. Saw you stranded on the road, they'd stop. And yet they don't seem to grasp what they're doing.
Yeah.
The trust of government is the thread that holds society, civil society together. And they are just taking a machete to it and seem to have no qualms about it.
We got news just before I came on the show. There's an individual by the name of Chris Krebs who runs cybersecurity for the United States government and had, to his, again, I think similar to Rassenberger, right, to his credit, been active publicly saying there was no systematic fraud. This election was safe and secure. It was a free and fair election. It was administered, you know, without these conspiracy theories, knocking them down tonight. The president fired him on Twitter precisely because of that. He said the recent statement by Chris Krebs on the security of the 2020 election was highly inaccurate, therefore effective immediately. He has been terminated as director of the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency. They're seeding a conspiracy theory that will last for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, I said before the election, if Donald Trump, you said to him, you can win this election, but it'll be the last election we have in America. I think genuinely his response would have been, what's the catch? This is a trust. He doesn't care. And but we know that he doesn't care. And that's where the party responsibility comes in. Because if Donald Trump wasn't elected, all these Republicans weren't elected. And look, Democrats can press this. Democrats can refuse to seat Republicans who are elected to the House. Democrats can refuse to allocate the money to fund Donald Trump post-presidency. They can play these games, but it's extraordinarily destructive. This will pass. Donald Trump is not going to be the next president of the United States, but this lingering sort of toxic chemical that's released in our system, it's very, very hard to undo.
Stuart Stevens, whose book, It Was All Lies, really excellent. I recommend it. Thank you so much for making some time. Up next, the Trump campaign sends